Say it louder, Africa, say it louder. Say it louder. Salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum, assalamu alaikum, salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
United we stand, divided we fall. All we need is freedom. All we need is love. Free Africans free. Free Africans free.
Be free, be free, free from slavery. Free, be free, be free, free from slavery. Free, free yourself from mental slavery. Free, free yourself from mental slavery. Free, free yourself from mental slavery. Free, be free, be free, free from slavery. Be free, be free, free from slavery. Yeah.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Salam alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum, African one. If you wanna be free, the most simplest one in the world. Get yourself the bag of really reggae music coming straight to you from the one of the most peaceful man. So many lying down on the streets, waiting for them with their guns in the hands. Get yourself the most free time I preach about freedom. Preach about freedom.
We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war. We're here to speak the word. We're here to stop the war.
Take a look on the street and say, listen, youth. Stop violence, they say, listen. You have to listen and be a man. The music we are doing is not a music for fun. We are preaching, hear it loud and clear. Hey, night and day, no sleeping it out. Let us preach, let the people hear. Let us preach, let the blind feel. The sound of freedom and love. The sound of freedom and love. The sound of freedom and love. The sound. African one love. In the production. Ethiopia. Salam alaikum. Morocco. Salam alaikum. Libya. Salam alaikum. Niger. Salam alaikum. Nigeria. Salam alaikum. Niger. Salam alaikum. South Sudan. Salam alaikum. Sudan. Salam alaikum. South Africa. Salam alaikum. African one. Salam alaikum. African one. Salam alaikum. Let's unite and be free. Salam alaikum. United we stand. Salam divided we fall.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, good night, viewers of concerned citizen of South Sudan, wherever you tune in today. We are live on Saturday, September 30th, 2023. And you can see, as you can see here below the screen, our topic of today. After his diplomatic embarrassment at the United Nations General Assembly, President Kiir visited Russia for arms. Of course, when he gave that speech at the United Nations General Assembly, he asked for the arm embargo to be lifted. Now, with all the embarrassment that actually President Kiir have faced here in New York at the United Nations General Assembly, led to that big lie when they said that they met with an American company called Caltech, and actually turned out not to be true. They felt like they just wanted to, you know, to make up something from that embarrassment that they have encountered in New York, not being meeting any U.S. official. President Joe Biden from refusing that actually is unavailable to meet with the president, and President Kiir is supposed to be meeting with Malifi, the former ambassador of the United States in South Sudan from 2015 to 2017. So now Kiir has gone home without even spending more days, and he rushed to visit Russia because he was not happy and he was so devastated. And he's looking for a friend that actually can help. And you can hear from that statement that he has given, it's indicating that to Russian President Vladimir Putin, saying that we are looking for a strong friend, a good friend, and you are the only alternative. Shame on that statement. You are the only alternative. Putin to be the only alternative for South Sudan. Putin to be an alternative. Russia to be an alternative for the people of South Sudan to have that. Okay, he can be a friend, no problem. We cannot say that. Why are you having, Putin on your side? But you cannot say that the only alternative. We have people all over the world. We have a lot of countries. Actually, we can have a relationship, including China, United States. And United States actually is a big brother that actually stood with the people of South Sudan for a very long time. I keep reminding people always about what the U.S. has done in 90s, Sudan Lifeline, feeding the refugees, feeding, all people of South Sudan, particularly in South Sudan at that time. We cannot forget what they have done. And now the U.S. actually has been complaining, not just complaining, has been advising the human right violation, the bad governing thing that are happening in the country. That's why the U.S. have shifted a little bit from Kiir administration, hoping that they will change and they will get back to the right track. But unfortunately, President Kiir is adamant about bad governing, human right violation, not allowing political space, and so forth. So U.S. decided, okay, if that's the case, continue what we are doing. They have ignored Kiir administration, and they imposed, actually, along with the UN security members, they have imposed our embargo, which has made President Kiir actually to be going around. The arm embargo was enforced in South Sudan. It's not because simply they want to enforce our embargo, because you buy the arm and you go and kill your people with the arm that you buy. And U.S., by saying that we always do our relationship based on principle of human rights, I cannot sell an arm. I cannot allow somebody who is a friend of mine, who we have a relationship, to go and kill his own people. And that actually fundamental disagreement with the U.S. and South Sudan. And you can see. But here now, after all this embarrassment going on, and visit Russia, so to solicit arm, because he believes and he is convinced that actually election that he's conducting is not going to be fair, because he's going to rig. We know the result already, even before election has been conducted. So he's aware that he's going to create a violence, and the violence that he's going to create, he needs to supply himself with an arm so he can fight people of South Sudan. You all well aware that Kiir government survives when there is a division, when there is a violence in the country, when there is a communal conflict in the country. These are the thing that Kiir government survived, this autocracy regime that we have in Juba. So that's why he visited Russia. He wanted also to confront the United States. He wanted to go there and say, you know what, hey, you guys didn't care about me. I came here. I got huge embarrassment, but I have a friend. I have Russia. I have China. He acted like Idi Amin Dada exactly when he was saying, I am the one who has the brain. You see, if Sudan attack me, and I will have a Tanzania. If Congo attack me, and then I will have this country, Ethiopia, they will stand with me, and Burundi, and so forth. So he wanted to show the United States that, you know what, you are not the only one. I can go with the Russian, I can go with the Chinese, I can go with others, to be on my side. They can supply me with arm, and I can continue to rule, and I can continue, to violate whatever have been violated. But you know what? People of South Sudan are watching, and we cannot take this anymore. And that's why on my last episode, indicating that people of South Sudan have to make up their mind and determine their destiny, because this thing has been going on for quite very a long time, and we cannot afford to take it anymore. It's our time to make a decision. As we made a decision, we fought for 21 years, and we together, we voted together, and we made our decision that overwhelmingly to vote for an independent South Sudan, that we want to be just, we want to be feeling fair, and we want to be treated with equal and justice and peace and harmony. So people of South Sudan are watching, and they are determined at this time to make the right choices, because we cannot be fooled all the time. So with that, I welcome all of you, my dear brothers and sisters, the countrymen and countrywomen of South Sudan, wherever you tune in tonight. Go ahead and share our live episode here. I will be joined in Clubhouse by distinguished, brothers and the leaders of United Citizen for Change, Chairman Ustaz Dengdir Ayok, and also Ustaz Abdullah Garang Kiir Deng will join me here in Clubhouse, and also others who are interested to participate in this very important episode today. But I wanted to remind you, as the viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, you always, committed viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan, and you want us to continue with what we do. You can see that I posted the link for GoFundMe. A month or a month and a half ago, actually, I started some fundraising because we wanted to get a better camera so we can have a better view. Two cameras plus the switcher, so we don't have to be worried. Switch from here to there, and then it can be more modernized, something modern. We don't have television that bring our issues to the light. We don't have a television that shed the light on the crisis are happening in our country. We have to rely on ourselves, our own resources. And that's why I set up this, 6-7 years ago, to have live episode every Saturday, or if needed in many days, also we can go live. So the idea is to have a better camera. The idea is to promote and have more and allow people of South Sudan, and our voice can be heard anywhere, back home, regionally, internationally. So that link is down there. You can click it and you can donate whatever you want it to have, $10, $50, $100, and more. By doing so, you are giving a favor to the concerned citizen of South Sudan to function and buy more, this equipment that actually will bring a high definition resolution, so it'll be more clear pictures. It would be better than what we have right now. Please, and I am asking you to go and contribute wherever you can contribute. This is for us, and I have been doing this with myself. I pay a network, internet, and software. You know what? It's a call. As President John Kennedy has put it, my fellow American, do not ask what your country can do for you, but do ask what you can do for your country. So we have that moral obligation to support one another and do what is right. So go ahead. I post the link on here on Facebook, on this video, below the video, I pinch it, and also with the YouTube. If you clicked it, it will lead you to where you wanted to donate. You can donate there by, doing it on GoFundMe, or you can connect and contact us directly, and you can do it Cash App or Zelle it in, whatever you choose to do. This is a good cost. It is a good cost for you. So please don't forget to do that. And I am asking you and appealing you. It's so important. Thank you so much for tuning in. أهلا ومرحبا بكم من جديد viewers of Concerned Citizen of South Sudan في هذه الحلقة من برنامج Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. It is September 30 من شهر سبتمبر 2023. الآن نتحدث عن زيارة رئيس سلفا كير إلى الرحشة من أجل الوصول إلى التسليح. طبعا معروف أن الرئيس سلفا كير دائما هو يعني دموي في أعماله في حكمه للبلد منذ 18 سنة. فده محور الحديث اليوم. هيكون عندنا ضيوف أستاذ دينجي أيوك في كلاب هاوس، الأستاذ عبد الله قرن, and others who will join me also here on Facebook and Clubhouse, on YouTube as well. You can join in on YouTube. So with that, I welcome all of you. Please go ahead and share it. I want you to share this so you can get to many people, who are not able to watch this one. But first, I think I need to play a clips. Even do you remember when we talk about the health of the president, always warning people that our president actually is mentally incapacitated, physically, mentally, he is unable. But there is a group of autocracy, that are behind him. They are the one that actually forcing him. They want him to be there. So they continue to loot. Removable Kiir, if Kiir leave, that means that they will leave as well. That means they will leave. So they are adamant of keeping this old man, the old man that unable to do anything. He should be rescued. He should be allowed to rest. And that's why we called last week that actually the SPLM party should ask President Kiir to step aside for his own health or for the well-being of the people of South Sudan, so they can move this country to the next level. So with that, I will welcome my dear brother, Ustaz Abdullah Garan, here to join me and weighing his perspective, and we start the discussion. I will be playing the clip. So when President Kiir, as I said, we talk about the health, is unable even to put the, I don't know, Sama, the speaker that he would be using, for interpreter to interpret what they are saying in Russia to him. And even President Vladimir Putin, it was a point talking to him too. Do it this way, do it this way, do it that way. So it was huge embarrassment, another embarrassment also, because we have been talking, and when we talk about that, some people, they tend to say that we are mocking this old man, but unfortunately, we are not mocking him. We are saying the facts. We are saying that he is old, he is sick, he cannot handle it, he's mentally incapacitated, he need to go home, he need to relax. This is the time that he should take a break, because he has been fighting for 38 years, and there is no need for him, to cling to the power for very, very long time. So with that, Ustaz Abdullah Garang, Ahlan Beg, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. أنا عايزك تطلعنا حول زيارة رئيس سلفا كير إلى روسيا الاتحادية، والهو بيتكلم فيه إنه للرئيس بوتين إنه أنت الصديق الوحيد الذي يمكن يساعدنا فيما نريده. طبعا ده ريفرنسز إنه بعد ما embarrassment اللي جاء في يونايتد ستيت، فهو بيشوف روسيا هي الصديق الوحيد اللي يمكن يسلحه عشان ما يخلق العنف كالمعتاد في دولة السودان الجنوبي. ونحن بعد شوية زي ما أنا قلت we will play. رئيس Kiir was given an opportunity. إنه as usual there will be always, when you are visiting as a head of a state to any foreign countries, as a head of a state to foreign country, you'll be given an opportunity with the president of that country to have a conference, press conference. And then when you have a press conference, you will be talking about why are you here? What are the reasons that you are visiting? Then you can, enlighten the press that I'm visiting for this and this, to build bilateral relationship, for the future, being a Shabain and so forth. But President Kiir, unfortunately, Russian President Vladimir Putin has spoken, about his visit, welcoming him. But President Kiir, unfortunately, was not saying anything. He said he's happy. I am happy for the huge reception that I have had with my delegation, and I don't have any much to say. Why would you travel 7 or 6 miles, 1,000 miles away to go to Russia, and then you have nothing to say then? Or if you don't want to say the camera, it would have been good to say that, okay, Mr. President, thank you for welcoming. I am very happy to be here in Russia. And then we tend to build a great bilateral relationship between the two nations, the Republic of South Sudan and Federation of Russia. And with here, we have a numerous thing that we are coming, to address with you, Mr. President. But I will not be speaking more in the media, but all thing that I want, it would be addressed in the closed doors. That's what you can say as a president. That's what you can say, actually, I don't know who are those advising these old men. Who is advising him? Who are the political advisor who are saying that go and say this, Mr. President? But actually, President Kiir was infuriated. He was so inferior. You know, have you heard about something they had in inferior complexity? In inferior complexity, he was there like a small boy. Like he's fearing blood being put in. Like هو خايف. انا ما اعرف ليه دايما بيحصل كده. انا شايف في بعض من رؤساء الافارقه لما تقعد مع رئيس ابيض وعيونه اخضر او blue whatever, you are kind of like you are afraid, you are inferior, but you should not be inferior. You should not be in that position. You are the head of state. Jabarok, قوة, عزة. You are going there ahead of state. You sit there, كلف كرينك ذاته, and then you talk. You talk. You are the head of state. I don't care if Russia is 7,000, years old. I don't care if China is 20,000 years old. But I am 18 years old as the Republic of South Sudan. But the same مزايا بتاعت head of state انت اللي بتستمتعوا رئيس راشا بيستمتع the same مزايا. يعني انت you cannot go there and صغر نفسك هناك وتعمل فيه وكأنك يعني جاي to beg يعني زول مسكين. No, you are a head of state. You are the president of the republic. You are the president, and when you are the president انت بتمشي, and people know that you are the president. You are representing 12, 13, 14 million. That's what it is. You should not be inferior to Russian president or American, whatever president you can be. I don't care. I am representing my country. I am a head of state. I am the president. I should be on that appearance, appearing with that quwwa wa izza. That's what it is. You are not representing a company. You are not representing NGOs and منظمة non-profit organizations. You are representing a state. انت رئيس دولة. So رئيس دولة ما تخاف يا أخي. في إيه؟ You go there. Yep. كده. Yeah, that what it show you is not. He is very incompetent. That what show you very incompetent. يعني الدولة هو بيمثل ذات هو خايف. He's not on that. Would that be this? It remind me in 2016 when President Kiir was invited to national prayer in Kenya, and he gave an address, and he started talking about the national dialogue, and later he started talking about his family in Kenya. I know his second wife, he lived in Kenya, in Nairobi, and then he started talking that I always think my children who were born here, born in Kenya, should be given citizenship. I was so devastated for President Salva Kiir Mayardit, who fought for South Sudan 38 years, to say that. That's so disgrace to say that. So you are the first man in the country, in the republic. You are the president of the Republic of South Sudan. And now you are telling me that your children who were born in Kenya should be given Kenyan citizenship. So action speak louder. You are telling me that you are not proud of the country that actually you rule. You are not proud of country that you are president. You are not proud of South Sudan that actually you govern. You are not. So you want your citizen, there is a country in your mind, you see that is better than South Sudan. That's why you prepare Kenya to give your children citizen. Because it's like you are a guest in South Sudan. Or maybe when you are not there, your kids, they are not going to have future in South Sudan. They are going to have future in Kenya. And that tells me a lot. That tells me a lot why all these generals, their a bank account, their children go to school in Kenya, in Uganda. South Sudan become a hunting field for all of you. You hunt from South Sudan, you go and eat it somewhere. That's what it is. So it's not new to me for President Kiir to be inferior when he's meeting Vladimir Putin. بخوف. لأن أساسا ما في أهمية. He doesn't care about this country. It's like guests in this country. And that's why I told you, my fellow citizen, last time, that actually there is no plane, the presidential, plane that's written on it, the Republic of South Sudan. No. You saw when he went to Russia, he ran an Ethiopian Airlines, and sometimes Kenyan Airlines, sometimes Rwanda Airlines. That's the nation. That's how it's been. Sometimes South Africa Airlines. That's how it is. Because he's not proud of this nation. He is not. He fought for it, yes, but now he wanted to reward himself. That's why he is the president. He wanted to be in power until he died. That's why corruption rampant. That's why all the bad things that are happening in our country, because he did not care, and he wouldn't care. Because if the country that you care, you fought for, you'll be careful about it, because you will not allow people to do away with bad things, because you will remind them, hey, I fought 38 years in this country, and I cannot allow people to do away with bad things in this country. I paid the blood of my heart as a young man in Anyanya 1 in liberation struggle. This is how President Kiir is supposed to be. But because he didn't care about it, no. He found the money and he said, oh, the money are good. I got to get the money. I don't care whatever happened. And I don't even want my kids to be in this country. That's why he wants his children to be Kenyan citizens. That's why he said that. I always think my kids who were born here, my children, shouldn't be given opportunity to have a Kenyan citizen. Go to YouTube, you will find that. Kenyan, they were smart enough. Now they it's muted. The voice is muted there. The volume is muted because it was so embarrassment. That was huge embarrassment that time to me, to the people of South Sudan. I was so embarrassed. Another embarrassment is not having a presidential even plane, and the corruption. That's huge embarrassment to all of us, people who are fighting for decency, justice, and liberty and prosperity. Okay, these are all embarrassment that he has been engaged in for a very long time, and he continue. Just tell me which president in the world is renting a foreign planes to travel with it. So when he land at the Moscow and then got to receive, even the guards who are not aware, they will say, oh, maybe is the Ethiopian president coming? Because the plane written on it, Ethiopian Airlines. It's not the Republic of South Sudan. And then you go there and sit like a little boy, scared, infuriated. There are more to be said. And not to express what is there in the media. You already went there and you said it's an alternative. What else are you worried for? What are you afraid of? Because you already showed to the world that I am going there to get the arm. What are you worried? With that, Ustaz Abdullah Garam, welcome to Concerned Citizen of South Sudan. I want to give you an opportunity, and then I will be way in Aidan later. Ustaz Abdullah, Tasmani.
Yes, أنا سامعك.
أهلا
I
بك.
hope you hear.
أهلا بك أستاذ
Yeah,
عبد الله.
سامعني كويس.
واضح جدا جدا.
أنا بحييك في سيديو كونسان سيزون أوف ساوث السودان، وبحيي المستمعين بتاع كونسان سيزون أوف ساوث السودان في كلب هاوس وفي فيسبوك. أنا شايف عندك عدد كبير جدا من المشاهدين في الفيسبوك.
نعم.
230 زيارة.
246 الآن.
أنا بحييكم كلكم، بحيي المستمعين. طبعا ملف بتاعت العلاقات الخارجية بتاع جنوب السودان نحن يعني لازم يعني نناقشه بشفافية، لأنه العلاقات الخارجية سوف تتواصل، لأنه كل ما يوقعه الحكومة بتاع جنوب السودان الآن حيمشي مع الحكومات الجاية ومع الأجيال القادمة. عشان كده نحن لازم نقيف في مسار العلاقات الخارجية وترجح العلاقات الخارجية بتاع جنوب السودان منذ 2011 بين المعسكر الغربي والمعسكر الشرقي، ونشوف المحاسن شنو والمساوئ شنو، ونجي نشوف الزيارة الأخيرة لرئيس كير للولايات المتحدة الأمريكية في دعوة كان موجه له شخصيا كرئيس لحضور القمة بتاعت الأمم المتحدة. طبعا الأخ جنكور يتكلم كلام يعني كلام حار، وده حقيقة يعني إنه الحاصل الآن في جنوب السودان زي ما أنتم شايفينه، يعني ما في إطار العلاقات الخارجية أو في إطار إدارة الدولة المعروف. في تخبط شديد في إدارة الدولة، تخبط شديد في العلاقات الخارجية، والحكومة ما شعر بالحتة ده على ما أظن. طبعا العلاقات الخارجية هي مجموعة من العلاقات، سواء كانت اقتصادية، قانونية، دبلوماسية، سياسية، اجتماعية، وأضيفت إليها مؤخرا قضايا زي بتاعت الإرهاب والأمن القومي والبيئة والموانئ البحرية ومصادر المياه. إذا نحن جينا فسرنا العلاقات الخارجية بتاعت جنوب السودان منذ 2011 فبنجدها إنها علاقات يعني متأرجحة.
نعم.
بدون أي خطة واضحة لاتجاه الدولة. مرة مع الدول العربية، مرة مع الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية، يعني مرة مع دول شرق إفريقيا. يعني العلاقات كده ما بتقدر تفهم إنه حكومة جنوب السودان بالضبط هو داير شنو.
يس.
ده من خلال يعني قراءتي. حكومة السودان هو بالضبط كده داير شنو. الحاجة الخطيرة في توجه العلاقات جنوب السودان الآن أنا شايف إنه جنوب السودان قاعد يتحول مرحليا من المعسكر الغربي داير يمشي المعسكر الشرقي لروسيا. لكن دي خطأ كبير جدا بترتكبه الآن حكومة بتاعت جنوب السودان.
نعم.
للوضع الآن في جنوب السودان أو علاقات الآن وفي المستقبل. لكن الكويس يعني ده بعجل رحيل بتاع الرئيس الفكير بالمناسبة. هم ما عارفين الكلام ده. هو الفكير والآن الموجود في الحكومة يعني الخطوات أو التخبط بتاع العلاقات الخارجية بين المعسكرين ده بعجل برحيله. لأنه أمريكا المفروض تتعاون مع راشا. التعاون مع راشا لازم يكون بحذر. ونحن في جنوب السودان ما دايرين يصنفونا كدولة من الدول الحلفاء مع راشا، لأنه في المدى البعيد روسيا منذ 1991 سقطت كدولة عظمى وهي ما قادرة إنها تحمي الحلفاء.
نعم.
ما فيها يعني نموذج لده 1967 القومية العربية لما دخلوا في حرب مع إسرائيل هم موالين
الاتحاد السوفيتي
لروسيا، مدعومين من روسيا، وإسرائيل كان مدعومة من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية.
كان الاتحاد السوفيتي يس.
هي كان الاتحاد السوفيتي في ذاك الزمن قبل ما يجي تكون روسيا في واحد.
نعم.
بعد سقوط الاتحاد السوفيتي. لكن يا جنكور الاتحاد السوفيتي في ذاك الزمن بكل قوته
نعم.
ما قدرت انها تقيف مع القوميه العربيه
نهائي. جود بوينت.
العربيه منذ اللحظه من الحرب بتاع 67. طيب اذا كان روسيا في نماذج كثيره، روسيا ما قاعده تحمي حلفاء. يس ممكن يرفع يده فيتو نور يس في مجلس الامن، لكن في اطار العلاقات الخارجيه روسيا لا تحمي حلفاء ابدا. وحرب 67 انا قلت كنموذج. الولايات المتحده الامريكيه بعد سقوط الاتحاد السوفيتي اصبح القوه العظمى.
نعم.
الولايات المتحده الامريكيه بتمتلك التقنيه بتاعت الزراعه. كل النتورك يدار من الولايات المتحده الامريكيه، كل الشبكات الاتصالات. بالاضافه لذلك الاقتصاد، الولايات المتحده الامريكيه مهيمنه على الاقتصاد. الولايات المتحده الامريكيه مهيمنه على التقنيه بتاعت البترول الان في العالم. نحن في جنوب السودان او جنوب السودان كدوله ناميه، نحن في حاجه هي الحياه دي الان الموجود في الولايات المتحده الامريكيه. لانه لما نكون قريبين من راشا، الولايات المتحده الامريكيه ممكن يعني تمنع التقنيه بتاعت البترول اللي احنا محتاجين له لجنوب السودان. حتى يعني التوسع في مجال التنقيب بيكون صعب علينا جدا.
They can take it seriously. They can take it seriously.
يعني take seriously now. إذا ربنا مع رشا حيدفعنا يعني ثمن في المستقبل، لأنه الدولة حيكون ديزيبل. الدولة حيكون ديزيبل، وأمريكا قادرة إنها تعمل الكلام ده، لأن أمريكا متهيمنة على المنظمات الدولية، متهيمنة على الأمم المتحدة، متهيمنة اقتصادية، وفي مجالات أخرى كثيرة جدا. زيارة بتاعت سلفا كير لروسيا في هذا الظرف بعد ما تم رفضه في الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية بمقابلة الرئيس جو بايدن خاطئ جدا. وأنا كنت أتمنيت إنه المستشارين حول الرئيس ينصحوا الرئيس على أساس إنه ما يسافر في هذا الوقت. يعني في مكاسب الآن في الوقت الحاضر. أنا شايف وزير الدفاع بتاع جنوب السودان اجتمع مع وزير الدفاع في روسيا. في صفقات بتاعت السلاح تمت في معلومات أولية غير مؤكدة إنه الحكومة الروسية وافقت إنه تمنح جنوب السودان عدد من طائرات هليكوبتر المقاتلة وعدد من الدبابات، واتفقوا على تمويل جنوب السودان في مجال الدفاع لمدة 5 سنين. والكلام الما مؤكد إنه الشركة بتاعت فاغنر المعروفة هي اللي بتجي بتعمل تدريب للقوات الدفاعية في جنوب السودان، ودي كلها أخطاء في الوقت الحالي حندفع ثمن ثقيل جدا في المستقبل، حندفع ثمن غالي جدا في المستقبل. الرئيس كير ومستشارينه أظن هم ما عندهم خارطة الطريق للعلاقات الخارجية، لأنه لو عندهم خارطة الطريق للعلاقات الخارجية الممكن الجنوب السودان يستفيد منه في المستقبل ما يكونوا في معسكر بتاع روسيا. دي خطأ جدا يعني. أي دولة طبعا عنده توجهات، لكن جنوب السودان دولة نامية، نحن ما بنقدر نقف في وش المدفع ضد العقوبات الأمريكية. نحن دولة نامية محتاجين إنه نوسع علاقاتنا الخارجية في إطار الصحيح، في إطار الإيجابي، لأنه الزيارة سلفا كير في هذا الوقت ده إطار يعني سلبي جدا. بالإضافة إلى ذلك في أغسطس 24 الرئيس برضو يعني طلب من قمة البركس إنه يدوه عضوية، وده كان برضو أغضب الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية. فالآن جانكور الحاجة الكويس إنه الزيارات زي دي حيعجل الرحيل بتاع الرئيس، لأن الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية ربما يغير خطته، لأنه هم كانوا ما راغبين، يعني نقولوا بالوضوح كده ما راغبين مثلا إنه مثلا يدعم المعارضة في جنوب السودان للتغيير الديمقراطي. لكن في الظرف ده الآن حكومة جنوب السودان خلاص بقت محسوبة على معسكر بتاع راشا، فدي حيكون عندها سلبيات على حكومة جنوب السودان في الفترات القادمة. حكومة مقبلة على انتخابات مفروض ما يخش في صراعات زي دي. فالنقطة الأخيرة، إذا مثلا نحن في جنوب السودان من هذه الزيارة بنلقى الدعم مثلا العسكري 24 تانك، من 10 تانك، 24 طائرات هليكوبتر مقاتلة. هل هذا يكفي مثلا إنه يعمل دفاع مثلا لدولة جنوب السودان ويساعد في التنمية؟ العلاقات الخارجية دائما العلاقات السياسية دائما مرات بتلعب الدور أكثر من دور السلاح. في دول ما عندها سلاح الآن لكن متطورة. يس نحن محتاجين سلاح، لكن العلاقات الخارجية مع أو العلاقات الخارجية الجيدة مع دولة زي الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية مطلوب الآن عشان نقدر نحن نطور في المجالات الزراعية، المجالات الاقتصادية، التعليم، الطرق، استخدام المياه. دي كلها دي الحاجات اللي احنا دايرين نطورها. لكن انا بشوف انه الزياره الاخيره للرئيس كير لروسيا لها يعني مساوي اكثر من المحاسن.
شكرا استاذ عبد الله. استاذ عبد الله انا بشكرك كل الشكر. وعلى فكره في نقطه مهمه جدا جدا انت اتكلمت فيها، انه زياره رئيس سلفا كير في وقت الحالي الوقت غير مناسب. اوكي، وانت ذكرت نقاط كبيره جدا. اتكلمت ان 1967 اللي هو الحرب الدول العربيه مع اسرائيل، النتائج كان المترتبه كانت شنو؟ اوكي، احنا شفنا الدول اللي وقفت مع روسيا جا حصلت شنو؟ شفنا اللي حصل لصدام، وشفنا اللي حصل لقدافي، وشفنا لاخرون اللي حصلهم شنو. يعني انا ما بتكلم عن violence toward them، لانه روسيا is not a committed friend. Okay, Russia can supply you whatever they wanted to supply you, you know. And what struck me actually في الحديث بتاع رئيس الفكير وقال يا اخي you are the only alternative. Yes, there is no permanent enemy, okay, in politics. But this is the guy not too long ago. ده زول كان برازيليان انتينوف للبشير وللحكومات المتعاقبه في الخرطوم. الانتينوف اللي كان بيعمل bombardment all across South Sudan region في زمن ذاك. Russia is the one that doing that. But I cannot say that because Russia has done that we cannot build a bilateral relationship. We can do that. But كلامك صح أستاذ عبد الله. يعني this government is committing a big mistake. A mistake that actually we don't want to pay for it. But it seems like this mistake actually will remain in the history. And South Sudan is going to pay for this mistake. Given the fact that كلام اللي أنت قلته قبل شوي إنه after he left here from the United States with huge embarrassment. So he wanted to confront the U.S. actually. That's what it is. And you made a very good point. The U.S. actually, they were not interested for regime change. That's what I know. My interaction with a lot of officials here, U.S. ما شغال في إنه يغير حكومة كير. هم شغالين إنه to help حكومة كير accountable. For whatever they said. If حكومة كير say أنا هنعمل انتخابات خلاص هم they will monitor. They'll sign peace agreement. They will make sure they sign this peace agreement but implement peace agreement. لأنه ده حاجة أنت قلت تعمله. They want them, to hold them accountable in everything that they have said. But actually, regime change has never been, in the U.S. government mind here. We want to change this government. No, they did not actually. That's the reality. عشان الناس اللي ما عارفين يقدر يفهم. لكن بالتوجهات اللي صار فكذا زي ما أنت قلت ده هيعجل عمر الحكومة دي توجهاته الأخيرة to confront U.S. simply because they requested to meet with President Joe Biden and Joe Biden unavailable. وهم كمان قالوا عايزين وزير الخارجية اللي هو جيمس مورغان فتيا to meet with the Mali P, and then Mali P refuses because President Kiir is the one that's supposed to be meeting, and now you are coming from here going back home without even relaxing. وتمشي رشا عشان أنا داير أعمل confrontation داير أوري ذاته لل US and I can do that. I understand there is a better way. You have to be very, very diplomatic and very careful with these countries. ده هيعجج الأمور. Instead of using diplomacy in a better way, okay, now you are pissing off. Maybe that's the right word or whatever, or you are creating more animosity between you and the U.S. administration, like Joe Biden or whatever, لأن السياسة الأمريكية الخارجية واحد دائما، سياستهم الخارجية ما قاعدة تتغير أين كانت الدولة. فكلام أنت قلته كلام مهم جدا جدا، لأنه إحنا our people they're supposed to be wise. This President Kiir, he just wanted to make thing that will serve him, will keep him in the power. لكن هو ما بيشوف مستقبل. What is going, what الآثار المترتبة بعده. حتى هو بقى ما في الآثار المترتبة شنو. شوف, it took Dr. John Garang very long time to be trusted by the United States. لأنه في الوقت آنذاك المعسكر الغربي of the United States, they have been thinking in Garang is a communist, in Garang in Marxism. لأن Garang believe in communists. And that's why actually they were supportive of Jafar Muhammad Nimeri. They were supportive. You know, Reagan, the government in Khartoum actually was supported by U.S. government. They get supported because they were, afraid. إنه الأيديولوجي الجاية مع جنوبيين وكان مع إثيوبيا وبرسلوا يالهم كمان في كوبا بيجي بدربونا قريبة من أمريكا. It's just only 500 miles away from Miami. Okay, so yeah, SPLA was not trusted from the US. So it took Dr. John Garang after failure of Mengistu عشان يبني علاقة دي مع الولايات المتحدة. But finally the United States, they accepted it. لما Dr. John جاء وقدم one of the very, very, very important speech at the U.S. Congress when he was given an opportunity, and made that a very famous comment and said, well, we are living in an ocean of confusion. Ocean of confusion. Yeah, ocean. We are living in an ocean of confusion. When you go to the east, and then the pro-Western will think that you are now pro-Eastern. And then when you come to the west, and then the east will think that you are pro-West. So we are living in ocean of confusion. And then everybody clapped the U.S. Senate, the United States Congress. They said, and they asked him a question, what do you mean ocean of confusion? What the hell? In ocean of confusion, لأن لما نمشي للسوفيت يونيون زمن ذاك إحنا عايزين سلاح. لأن عندي قضية human right, قضية marginalization, قضية العدالة. زمن ذاك لأن إحنا we were treated as a second class citizen in our own country, Sudan. فالدكتور جون وضح انه نحن لما نمشي هناك ما عشان نحن we believe in ideals of Eastern. Okay, well, now you may think that actually Dr. John is communist, or that's what we believe, and that's why you are very skeptical about supporting the SPLM. But he was able to make the case to U.S. Congress, and then American, they were able to say, okay, these people, they needed help, and that's why Sudan Lifeline started. They help supply food and medical and all these things, and they supported the SPLM. And actually, they squeezed the country of Sudan. You remember when Tony Lake, the National Security Advisor of President Bill Clinton, that time I was in high school actually in Sudan in 1998. I was in high school when Bill Clinton said we will be able to fight Sudan through his neighbors, Eritrea, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, and all these things. And they did actually more sanctions. And I remember when they strike Sudan, Masnashifa. So it took a long time. The point that I wanted to bring across here, it took a long time for Dr. John to renovate or to bring us closer with the U.S., with the West. Okay, I'm not saying that the West are the best. Okay, there is a lot of bad thing actually have been done here toward African, and African countries. We all aware of that. But we need to be diplomatic, when we are dealing with these people. We need to know, the impact, what we are creating today, what will be the impact tomorrow, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and 20, 50 years. We need to know. And that's why actually sometimes I blame those in J1, and because those in J1, they don't care. As long as they are getting paycheck, this country go to hell. ما بيهمهم. المستقبل يكون dark. ما بيهمهم. فكلامك, your analysis was correct, Ustaz Abdullah. The time is not right. The time is not right going now.
عندي إضافة نقطة بسيطة يا أخي. الله يرجع.
تفضل.
الآن الحكومة جنوب السودان ما أخذ موقف أو زعلانة من حكومة الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية في موضوع بتاع العقوبات بتاع السلاح.
نعم.
لكن العقوبات دي كانت لسبب ما ساكت. جنوب السودان كانت عندها علاقة جيدة مع الولايات المتحدة في 2011. الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية دعمت جنوب السودان منذ 1997 دعم كبير لحد ما أصبحت دولة. وبعد ما أصبحت دولة حكومة أمريكا دعمت جنوب السودان بالطريق شريان حياة من جوبا لحد الحدود مع يوغندا عشان يكون عنده طريقة السبلاي يقدر يجيبوا البضائع بتاعت، لأنه زمن ده كان السودان عنده علاقات يعني سيئة مع جنوب السودان، عنده علاقات سيئة مع السودان. فقاموا فتحوا الشارع بتاعت النمري، شارع مكلفة قروش كتير جدا، وشارع يعني إمكانياتها يعني عالية جدا. كانت الشارع ده تم بمعونة أمريكية.
نعم.
أمريكا فرضت السلاح لأنها كانت بتتوقع أن جنوب السودان تكون دولة نموذجية في أفريقيا، لكن بعد 2013 الحركة الشعبية إدارتها كانت ظهرت على حقيقتها. فالحرب اللي حصل في 2013 في مواطنين كتير ماتوا بسلاح الدولة.
نعم.
عشان كده الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية زي took responsibility وقاموا منعوا إنه جنوب السودان ما يكون عندها وارد بتاعت الأسلحة، لأنه هم شايفين إنه حكومة الجنوب عندها بترول وما قاعد تهتم بالمواطن، لأنه المنظمات بتاعت الأمم المتحدة المدعومة من الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية والمعونة الأمريكية USAID هم الآن اللي بيطعموا المواطنين في جنوب السودان. طيب إذا كان أنت عندك بترول وما قاعد تصرف الرواتب، وعندك البترول وما يعني بتعمل تطوير الخدمات وما بتدعم الزراعة عشان المواطن يعتمد على نفسه، طيب يدوك سلاح لشنو؟ العقوبات بتاعت السلاح كانت يعني بسبب ما سايب، لأنه حكومة جنوب السودان حتى بعد توقيع بتاعت الاتفاقية في 2018 ما أظهرت النوايا الحسنة في إدارة الدولة عشان يرفعوا منها العقوبات.
نعم.
أبدا، لأنه الوضع أول حصل في 2013 يظل لسه قائم وممكن يحصل إذا حكومة جنوب السودان لسه مصرة إنها تدير الدولة بالوضع الحالي وتعمل انتخابات بمفردها، انتخابات الحزب الواحد وإعلان الرئيس الفكير رئيس للدولة. إذن لسه العقوبات بتاعت السلاح هيكون قائمة، لأنه لو اداك في يدك أنت تعمل برودلايز للمواطنين. عشان كده ظل قائمة وما وبعد
Abdullah, your network, I don't know what happened.
كوبا مواجهة للمعسكر الشرقي لسنين، يعني الدولة دي ضاعت كثير. الو
يا سامعينك ناو واصل.
نحن ما دايرين نكون دولة يعني disabled country زي كوبا في ايز افريكا، لانه نحن جنوب السودان عندنا مشاكل كثيرة جدا. حتى الان دايرين دعم دولي، دايرين دعم من الولايات المتحدة الامريكية، خصوصا فيما يخص ترسيم الحدود. حتى الان حدودنا ما مرسومة، وترسيم الحدود انت لازم تجيب الدوكيمنت بتاعك ولازم تجيب الشهود. وفي اشياء كثير جدا في ترسيم الحدود نحن دايرينها من بريطانيا، بالذات الخرط الاصليه في 1156 موجود لدى بريطانيا، لكن بريطانيا ممكن ما حيدينا لو نحن عندنا علاقات سيئه مع الولايات المتحده الامريكيه، لانه هم حلفاء. فترسيم الحدود نحن محتاجين دعم دولي من الامم المتحده، محتاجين دعم من الاتحاد الاوروبي، محتاجين دعم من بريطانيا كدوله كانت المستعمره، عشان نقدر نرسم حدود من الحقيقيه، لانه الان في توقل يعني كثير في حدودنا. ده واحد. الشيء الثاني قضايا بتاعت الاقتصاد في جنوب السودان، قضيه بتاعت الاقتصاد ونهوض الدوله في ظل المعسكر الشرقي الروسي.
نعم.
ما اظن انه نحن نقدر نقدم يعني او نعمل خطوات للتنميه زي ما احنا دايرينه، لانه امريكا يعني مسيطره على البنك الدولي، يعني مسيطره على الاقتصاد. نحن محتاجين قروض لتحسين الاقتصاد، محتاجين قروض لاستخدام الموارد الطبيعيه عندنا في جنوب السودان،
زراعه، ابحاث زراعيه،
هي زراعه واخرى. محتاجين برضو علاقات خارجيه لبناء دفاع امني قوي، لانه الان يعني عندنا تحديات امنيه سواء كان من الحدود الشماليه او من الحدود الجنوبيه مع يوغندا، لانه الان السودان في وور، ما معروف الحرب ده هينتهي 200. سو نحن في جنوب السودان لازم يكونوا حاضرين انه الحرب دي ما ينتقل لجنوب السودان بشكله اللي احنا شايفينه في السودان. فدي كلها بتحتاج الى العلاقات الخارجيه القويه مع دول مثل الولايات المتحده الامريكيه. الان انا شايف كينيا حتى يوغندا علاقاتهم كويسه مع الولايات المتحده الامريكيه، دول عربيه.
كينيا سبيشالي كينيا.
يس. سو نحن ما محتاجين نمشي مثلا نتوسط كينيا عشان نتحصل على بعض القروض او اشياء مثلا قد نلقاها من الولايات المتحده الامريكيه مباشر. انا ما دايرين سمسار في النص. الان العلاقات بتاع جنوب السودان مع روسيا في الوقت الحالي ما بقدم جنوب السودان اقتصاديا اجتماعيا امنيا، فدي خطأ او تطور الطبيعي للاخطاء. كير الان هو زعلان، لكن الدوله ما بيديروا كده. الدوله انت لازم يكون عندك النفس الطويل. حتى لو تم استفزازك انك ما تقابل الرئيس بايدن، انت لازم يكون عندك سياسه بتاع النفس الطويل. والان يعني انا شايف برهان اقرب للاداره الامريكيه من بريزيدنت كير.
نعم.
فدي برضو بعدين هيكون محسوب علينا في جنوب السودان. انا شايف برهان قابل اسيستنس بتاعت الخارجيه للشؤون الافريقيه. شايف قابل زولونسكي.
That the same person actually. يعني مالي ده المفروض رئيس كير يقابل، يعني لكن رئيس كير رفض.
مطار كان ايضا ذاته يعني كان في اهميه لزياره البرهان اكثر من رئيس بتاع دوله جنوب السودان. ودي في العلاقات الخارجيه ما كويسه، لانه امريكا الان هي المسيطره، والاتحاد روسيا يعني ماشيه تتآكل. دي الدوله الان قويه اقتصاديا امنيا كل شيء، لكن روسيا عندها مشاكل. ممكن الدوله دي يعني تتآكل، يعني ما زي الاتحاد السوفيتي الزمان. فعموما النقطه الاخيره، الحكومه دي يعني بكل مساويها حتمشي، وبعد ما تيجي حكومه جديده حتعيد خارطه العلاقات الخارجيه مع الولايات المتحده الامريكيه، مع الاتحاد الاوروبي، مع دول الجوار، والا حنكون دوله ضعيفه اذا نحن مستمرين في مثل هذه العلاقات في المستقبل. شكرا جزيلا.
اشكرك استاذ عبد الله قرن. تحليل موفق and indeed and this is what we have been saying, you know، لانه جنوب السودان او the Republic of South Sudan ما محتاجه واسطه، ودي من الاشياء الضاره بالسودان الشمالي، لان السودانيين في الشمال دائما بيعتمد على مصر، بيعتمد على السعوديه، بيعتمد على الامارات. وده النقطه اللي انا اتكلمت فيه قبل في البدايه، انه انت كدوله عندك هيبتك، انت كدوله you have your own full authority انه to deal مع الدوله المعنيه. اوكي، شوف هم دائما اسرائيل كان عندها علاقه وما زال عندها علاقه مع مصر، عندها علاقه مع بعض الدول العربيه، ولكن السودان كان بيرفض انه يكون عنده علاقات مع اسرائيل بسبب مشاكل بتاعت فلسطين. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't make sense to me, because انت دايما الدوله بتخلق علاقات من اجل مصالح بتاع شعبها، ده اللي بيعنيك. اوكي طيب الان يعني زي ما انت قلت دوله السودان الجنوبي بيتجنب to confront with the United States، ودي من الاسباب اللي خلى الرئيس سلفا كير يعيش في عزله سياسيه من 2000 وكم، من 2014 يعني هو ما كان بيجي في UN Security UN General Assembly، ودائما he's avoiding meeting with the US official. دائما هو بيتطرف، يمشي تشاينا يمشي راشا وكده، لانه رئيس كير داير زول بيقول له yes you are doing okay، وما داير criticism، وما داير يقول له يا اخي wrong and this thing should be done this way. Indeed انت لما تقول في دولتك ما في زول ثاني يجي يقول لك يا اخي this is wrong، but انت you are a part of this international community. okay you are part of this contract that actually أنا لما ندير الدولة الفلانية when we become an independent nation we sign okay as a member of the international community. في guidelines هنا مضيناه universal right respect of human rights and freedom of expression and political space and you must take care of your own citizen. دي حاجات يعني معروفة، وهنا مضينا بقينا جزء. That's why we become member of UN. That's why we become a country of number 193. okay then when you violate this authority الدولية أو المجتمع الدولي بما فيهم الولايات المتحدة الأمريكية they have a right to ask Mr. President or الدولة الفلانية why such a thing are going wrong. You are part of us, we are part of international community. فالواسطة ما بينفع إنه الواسطة اللي كانت السودان بيعملها مع السعودية ومع مصر ومع الإمارات شفناها وصلها وين الآن. شفنا الدولة السودانية وصلت وين. اوكي بامكانهم كان يعمل علاقات مباشره مع اسرائيل، يعمل علاقات مع امريكا، يعمل علاقات مع الدول دي. انت ما محتاجه وسيط. you don't need that. اوكي فنعم الوقت ما مناسب، لكن انا شايف بس الناس الموجوده في جي 1 دي they are reactions. My brother here even joke said that they reacted quickly. وزي ما انت قلت لازم يكون في نفس طويل في السياسه. that's what it is. السياسه هي فن الممكن يا جماعه. سياسه ما قال لا لو قلت لك no don't do this and we are not able to meet you now خلاص you get pissed off and you get mad and said okay I'm not coming anyway, I'm going to go and find another friend, I will have a different friend tomorrow. That's not how politics work. That's not how it works. And that's why I ask a question. Is President Kiir say into good advisor, political advisors? Another will no, this is very dangerous. If you do this, the consequences are going to be this and this and this and that. Okay, it's like saying that if that's what Kiir is doing. Now you are dealing here with the US and زي ما انت ذكرت قبل US عنده امكانيات زراعيه، امكانيات تكنولوجيا وحاجه ده. we can be very diplomatic to get what you want. That's how it works. You cannot just throw yourself under the bus simply because they حاجه معين، وده حاجه من مصلحتك ومن مصلحه شعبك اصلا، انه ما يكون في فايليشن، انه يكون في تنفيذ لاتفاقيه السلام، انه يكون في fair and free and fair election. ده من مصالح بتاعت شعبك، يعني ما في حاجه wrong فيه. You cannot be like a spoiled child and لو قال لك no this is not the way and say okay fine I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And this is how the SPLM cadres الناس الحاكمين البلد they feel like they are spoiled boys of the United States. But no man, this thing has got to stop, doesn't it? لكن هم دايرين يضيعوا البلد ده ويضيعونا معهم ويضيعوا المستقبل. And that's what we cannot. لأن زي ما أنا قلت قبل الولايات المتحدة أصلا ما كان عندها فكرة في حاجة اسمها regime change أي تدخلات. لكن now if you are going لمعسكر الرشا and you are start to act such a way, well they may change their policy towards South Sudan. And if they change their policy towards South Sudan, what is going to happen? That will be impacting the country for the long term, and we don't want such a thing to happen. نحن دايما دايرين تغيير، وتغيير اللي احنا دايرينه لازم يكون عندنا كونسنسس في تغيير. لازم يكون عندنا كونسنسس في بلد عشان التغيير اللي يحصل ده يكون تغيير ما بيترك جراح اللي بيقعد for very long time. انا شايف في برادر هنا قبل قاعد يعلق ويقول يا اخي انتوا ما عارفين ان imperialism was slavery وراشا ما participated in slavery وامريكا عنده imperialism. And you know what? We are not talking about slavery. We know what had happened 3 years ago, 300 years ago, 400 years. We know actually the history. Slavery happened, but we cannot come here and cry about slavery. Yes, it had happened. Okay? وده بقى become part of their history. But are you going to say that I'm going to sit back, I'm not going to work, I'm not going to build bilateral relationship because there was a slavery? If you do that, and then you are so naive, then okay. But we're looking, and we look for the future. What is going to happen in the future? What are the benefit are we going to gain if we start engaging, this relationship with the Russian and Chinese? What are the long term, we are gaining? We see how the environment has been impacted by the oil, that has been drilled. Because Chinese, they don't care about anything. They will take Chinese, they will bring their employees to your country. Even they are investing within your country, they will bring employees. So you are not gaining anything. Elites, the official, are the one that getting, because they will sign a deal and they will give money to those leaders, and then the citizens are not gaining. And this is one of the things, I talk on our last episode. I brought an issues that when a foreign country come to invest. For instance, now we have KCB Bank in Kenya, Bank of Kenya, investing in South Sudan. That's part of what bilateral relationship, that mutual relationship between two countries. Yeah, you are coming to my country, you are opening a bank, but opening that bank, I should, as a hosting country, I have my laws, I have my guidelines. This bank will invest in this Republic of South Sudan, but you know what? The branch managers, they must be South Sudanese. We have to have brand managers of these banks. We have plenty of accountings, South Sudanese. We can have 90% of employees, they have to be South Sudanese, because they are investing in South Sudan. You bring your capital to invest here, but we have to provide the manpower. That's how it works. So we can benefit both. But that's not the case now with Kiir administration in South Sudan. So the Kenyan or some East African banks in South Sudan, they come with their capital, they are investing in South Sudan, but the employees are not South Sudanese. How are we gaining from there? We are not gaining anything. Actually, we are losing. These people, they will work and will shift the money back to their countries. That's how it is. It's the same thing with the hotels, industrial. You will see all the hotels, the top, employees, managers, that are Ethiopian. The manager of the hotel and the accounting and the director, all these are Ethiopian. Even simply the restaurant. There is a restaurant, a Turkish restaurant in central in Juba. All the employees are Turks in the kitchen everywhere. Okay, let's say that they are the one that knows about the recipe, how to make the Turkish food. But they cannot hire South Sudanese. It's because of lack of management in the country, because these leaders, they are allowing such a thing to happen. How are you benefiting as a citizen of that country? And you deserve to be the priority. You get that job first, okay? But if you go to this restaurant, you will see they are Ugandans, they are Kenyan, okay? Even in hair salon. So this thing sometimes, when I sit down and pause, it's so painful. It is painful, right? So, Ustaz Abdullah Garang, you have spoke a lot and you have said a lot, more than enough actually. Let me go ahead and bring Ustaz Dengida Ayok, but before I give chance to Dengida Ayok, I want to play clips. And I did talk about how President Kiir was infuriated, meeting with Vladimir Putin. It doesn't feel like a representing country or a head of a state, which is, supposed to be behaibatu. It has no that feeling. And he did not even say on that press conference, did not even speak, about the purpose of his visit, to Russia. He said he's happy and glad to be here. Thank you for the reception and that we have received. And he didn't go in details talking why you are here. While the host president, Vladimir Putin, spoke a lot, about how they can progress in building bilateral relationship with these sisterly two countries and so forth. So let me go ahead and play the clips before I bring Dengida Ayok to the podium to speak. And yeah, and if later some others, they want to join me here through Facebook, they are welcome. I send link to Sas Wundi Mariel. We should take this seriously. Sometimes we just tend to talk about, just only the government and political change. But look at this thing, on the based on the international relationship, and the diplomatics, how they are impacting our citizens, You may not be thinking about politics, but politics is always thinking about you. All the decisions are made on your behalf, and they will impact you back home now and in future. And you have seen already, banks of Kenyans are investing and they are not employing our people. NGOs are coming to the country, and the director and the head, they are foreigners. Even simply restaurants, they are investing in our country. They are not employing South Sudanese. You have seen this. So what can we do about this? So let me play the clips, and I'll bring you something, and we move on from here. Our president didn't know what to do with that thing. Sad.
Уважаемый господин президент, уважаемые друзья, я очень рад видеть вас в Москве с официальным визитом. Вы уже были в нашей стране в 2019 году на первом саммите Россия-Африка в Сочи. Хочу вас поблагодарить за то, что вы на высоком уровне обеспечили представительство Южного Судана на Петербурге, на втором саммите Россия-Африка, который мы проводили этим летом. И хочу отметить, что он прошел весьма успешно. Отношения между нашими странами развиваются весьма интенсивно. Мы были одной из первых стран, которые признали суверенитет и независимость Южного Судана. И должен сказать, что мы считаем, что многое предстоит еще сделать, прежде всего в сфере экономического развития. В прошлом году у нас наблюдался некоторый спад товарооборота, а в этом году, правда, мы являемся свидетелями того, что товарооборот растет. Правда, и это только самое начало. У нас много хороших возможностей в самых разных областях, в том числе в энергетике. Надеюсь, что те наработки, которые есть, в том числе, имею в виду и строительство НПЗ в вашей стране с участием нашей компании и планы в вторую очередь создания, вторую очередь этого завода пойдут на пользу развитию наших торгово-экономических связей. Мы продолжаем работать в гуманитарной области, в учебных заведениях нашей страны проходит подготовку граждан
nationals of your country, and we are eager to expand this cooperation further. I know that you have direct contacts with our regions, including the Republic of Tatarstan, and I hope that this line of activity will progress. Definitely we are aware of the fact that further progressive development of your security situation to resolve all the legacy problems that you inherited from the past is necessary, so we'll do our utmost to support you in this domain also. So I really am glad that you have found an opportunity to pay us a visit to discuss all these issues, as well as be able to talk about the regional stability and security. I would really like to know what you think on all of that. What's your take on that? Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and warm welcome to Russia.
Thank you very much. And I am happy for the warm welcome that has been given to us with my delegation. And I'm here today as an opening for our long work in the future. We will work together as I have come here. Yes, as you said, it was the first time when we met in Fushi, and then nothing has been done after that. I am happy that I'm here today and will have to say other things maybe in the same meeting or in the other meeting, and we will work together as the world dictates. Nobody can stand alone, and I cannot do it alone. We are the youngest nation in the world, and we need strong friends. You are one of them, and we don't see any alternative besides you. And today I don't really have much to say, but I have to thank you for the invitation to come to Moscow. Thank you.
I thank you, Your Excellency.
That was the clips. What I've heard, happy, warm welcome, long walk, we are in it together as the world dictates. I did not hear what the purpose of visit and to do what. Okay? I did not. And also, I must say this to Sadengdi Ayog as I give you this opportunity to weigh in to our viewers. Sadengdi Ayog, why President Kiir is inferior and why all this boggling? Why is he boggling? I want to ask you this question, before even you weigh in. Sadengdi, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Brother Jonkor, for the show and also for that important question. As I was looking at the video of President Kiir during the bilateral talks between him and the Russian President Vladimir Putin, I look at the video critically and I visually analyze it before I politically analyze it. And so I reached some conclusions. And one of the conclusions which I had reached is what you are talking about. The issue of inferiority complex. President Kiir, in fact, felt so small, so inferior in front of President Putin. Although he's a giant, if you look at him physically, he's very tall. He's taller than Putin. Putin is a president of a great country, but President Kiir is a giant, he's a tall man. He was looking at Putin's heads from the top, looking at on his head from the top.
But the problem is, why should a president of another country feel so small in front of another, or in front of the president of another country? He is a head of state and you are also a head of state. The conclusion is that most of the African presidents, not only President Kiir, always feel that one. And I think this is a legacy of colonialism in Africa, that so many black people saw that they are inferior. But we are not inferior. No one can make us inferior, and no one should look at us as inferior. So Africa need to get rid of the mental, colonial mentality, belittling themselves in front of the presidents of other countries. That was not acceptable. So this is how I look at it. This is a colonial heritage in most of the African presidents, and they need to get rid of this. President Kiir should get rid of this. This is how I look at it. Another thing also, it also goes back to your personal feeling. How do you look at yourself? You should look at yourself with self-esteem. You have to value yourself very much.
Yes.
You have to be confident in yourself, so that when you meet with anyone, you don't feel that you are little or you are smaller in front of them. That one is not acceptable, because you are a president, you are representing a people. So that was not good. Now, I hope I have answered your question.
You did.
Thank you. I will go to the visit itself. You know, we are talking about President Kiir's visit to Russia, a diplomatic visit. And when we are talking about President Salva Kiir's visit to Russia or to any other countries in the world, we are talking about diplomacy. We're talking about bilateral ties. We are talking about the strategic national goals to be achieved. We are talking about mutual interest in different fields, such as politics, economy, security and defense, science and technology, you can name it. Because these diplomatic ties between countries are all about cooperations, and they are all about gaining mutual interest. We gain as a country, and those other countries also gain. And this way, our world is made up. This is how the world is made up. This is how you live in this world. No one is an isolated island. We need one another in order to cooperate and exist together. But as we do this, we need to be very careful, because the world is full of so many conflicts. We are in a world that is divided up into two. We are talking about the Western camp, and there is Eastern camp. And historically, there was a conflict between the Western and Eastern camp. And so the Eastern camp was defeated after the World War II. And then that was not the end of the thing. Another war continued, which is usually referred to as Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
And the result of the Cold War was the collapse of the Soviet Union. Now, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, the United States of America emerged as a very powerful country in the world. it is almost dominating the world. And so you have other powerful nations around the world in form of China and Russia that are competing with the United States of America, and they challenge the American authority. This is the world we are in today. But America is controlling the world, especially what Abdullah Garan said earlier, the international organizations such as the UN and all its subs, and all the organizations that are under it. These are all being controlled by the United States of America, be they political institutions or humanitarian institution or organization or financial institutions such as World Bank and IMF, etc. These are under the control of the United States of America. So America is considered today as a superpower. Luckily enough, South Sudan, during the struggle, actually gained the support of the United States of America, and the United States of America became a very good friend to the leader of the struggle, John Garang Mabur, and SPLM as a whole. And so our relations between the U.S. and the movement started, and the relations went on very well. And we all remember that the United States played a great role in supporting the people of South Sudan during the time of war, especially the humanitarian situation. You will all remember the Samaritan Purse, an American organization that was helping the people of South Sudan. This is an organization of Benjamin Franklin, an American evangelist and preacher. You will all remember this. And also the USA. You can remember that. So America is a friend to the people of South Sudan. It started as a friend to the movement, and then it continued to be a friend to South Sudan after it became an independent country. In 2000, or was it between 2000 and 2001, Bush administration worked tirelessly through the Congress to ensure that the Congress passed what was called the Sudanese Peace Act. It was passed in the Congress.
Yes.
And then the United States was able to bring together the Islamist government in Khartoum and the SPLM, SPLA to the table and let them negotiate in order to put an end to the conflict in the Sudan. And so through that help, through Bush administration and the work which was done by the Congress when they made sure that they passed Sudan Peace Act, immediately George W. Bush sent John Danforth to Sudan as his special envoy. And actually, John Danforth made a great push in the negotiations between the SPLM and the government of Sudan. So Senator Danforth was a great player that was sent to the people of Sudan by former President George W. Bush. And after the signing of the CPA, the United States of America continued to support the implementation of the peace agreement. And we all remember that President Kiir made a lot of trips to the White House to seek the American support and to make sure that Americans were working to exercise political pressure on the National Congress Party in Khartoum so that the CPA was implemented, and particularly the right of self-determination. So Americans supported the people of South Sudan, And we are an independent country today through the help of the United States of America. We recognize this and we very much appreciate it. So without the help of the United States of America, we wouldn't have been a country today, because the government of the United States of America was the only government that was able to exercise diplomatic and political pressure on Omar al-Bashir and his government to implement the CPA and to make sure that the South Sudanese vote in a referendum, a peaceful referendum, and decide between whether Sudan should remain as one country or be split up into two countries. And we did it. We voted in a peaceful referendum, and today we have the Republic of South Sudan. So, during the time of the struggle, to the time of negotiations, to the time of peace implementation, the United States of America has been always a great friend. Now, what is the problem? What brought the deterioration, or what caused the deteriorations of the diplomatic relations between the United States and South Sudan? What caused the deterioration is the civil war in 2013, when the government got split. Some officials who were in the government became rebels, and those who remain in the government remain as government, the SPLM officials. And so during the time of war, a lot of atrocities against human rights, war crimes were committed against the people of South Sudan. And Brother John Kiir, and those who are watching and listening, I want you to remember this. In 2014, there were allegations against the government of South Sudan. There were allegations against the SPLA that they had used what we call cluster bombs. There were strong allegations that cluster bombs, al-Qanabil al-Unqudiyya, that al-Qanabil al-Unqudiyya, cluster bombs, were used in a war against the rebels in Upper Nile, particularly in Jungle area. But those allegations were denied by the government. Malaga Yuen in his program denied this strongly, and many others, including those of Michael Mapre, they denied these allegations. So when you are talking about the deteriorations of the relations between South Sudan and the United States of America, the relations deteriorated because South Sudan could not respect human rights. United States of America is a country that upholds human rights. It is a country, if you are an ally to you, make sure that your human right records are clean. So this was the beginning of the deterioration between South Sudan and the U.S. relations. Now, after they saw that the government of South Sudan could not abide, I need to connect this one up also. You know, on the 9th of July, 2011, the declarations of the independence was read out by the then Speaker of the National Assembly, and who is now the Vice President, Dr. James Waniga. In the declarations of the independence, he made it clear that South Sudan was going to be a democratic country, a country that shall respect human rights. If you have to read that declarations, you will get it there. But 2 years later, they were not able to abide by what they said or what they articulated in the declarations of the independence. So that was the fallout. This is how South Sudan fell out with the United States. And in 2015 to 16, the U.S. came up with the issue of arms embargo. Additionally, the U.S. also was looking for her own interests in South Sudan. Abdullah mentioned something very important, that the United States played an important role in building or constructing a road between Juba, Nimli, and that is a strategic road, so that we can receive goods from Uganda, we can build good trade between South Sudan and Uganda. So that was like a good gesture from the United States of America. But that one was turned down, and so the relations became bitter between South Sudan and the United States of America. So who is to blame for the deteriorations of the relations between South Sudan and the U.S.? The government of South Sudan is to blame because they couldn't abide by what they said. Our government is to blame. And it seems that our government has forgotten the past, the good past between us and the United States. This is not good. Now, after South Sudan fall out with the U.S., the relation deteriorated and South Sudan became isolated in the international arena. And so President Kiir became a man of J1. He couldn't extend his relation to the United States of America, to other European countries. And as we have been following, the United States and her allies, a collective of nations that are usually referred to as Troika, they have always been vocal against the government of South Sudan on the issues of human rights, good governance, development, services to the civilian, all those things. So this is like a short history of how our government came to fall out with the U.S. Now, with South Sudan in isolation for a decade or more than that, President Kiir finally decided to go to the UN General Assembly in New York. And so he traveled. And before he traveled, a letter was sent from the State Department, U.S. State Department, which is responsible for African affairs. And he was told that President Biden would be unavailable to meet him. And so Molly P. was assigned, the former U.S. ambassador to South Sudan, was assigned to be the one to meet with President Kiir. And so President Kiir, as Abdullah said, became angry. How could the U.S. administration send a junior official to meet with him as the head of state? And so President Kiir started a retaliatory move while he was in New York. So he rejected to meet with Molofi, and he came back to the country. And without spending 4 or 1 week in the country, he made a U-turn and then he went to Russia. Now, there is a question I was asking myself. Is the idea of visiting Russia an idea of the government of the Republic of South Sudan, or was it an idea of the government of Russia? Because when the president was in the bilateral talk with Putin, he thanks the president for the invitation. And so the visit came as an invitation. It was not initiated by Juba. It was initiated by Kremlin. So this is how I understand. However, what I want to say that now we are witnessing a diplomatic shift in the relations between South Sudan and U.S. Instead of South Sudan continuing to build good relationships with the U.S., despite of what happened, South Sudan is retaliating in anger, as Abdullah said. I very much agree with Abdullah on this point. South Sudan is angrily retaliating to what was done to President Kiir recently in New York when he was not allowed to meet President Joe Biden. But he has himself to blame, not the U.S. Administration. And so this issue of anger and retaliatory actions is what took him to Kremlin and met with President Putin. Now, when you look at Kremlin and the White House, the two have a conflict, a political conflict. The United States of America has a conflict with Russia and with China. And I was listening to news yesterday, and I saw the Secretary of State of the United States of America accusing me.
I was going to add a point, really quick point, because you stress a very important point there, saying that you wonder who initiated the visit, and from the point that President Kiir was saying that actually you can tell that the visitation was initiated by Vladimir Putin. But Vladimir Putin, we know, he has been hunting, to add to his baggage those countries who have dispute or disagreement with the United States. We know that. So South Sudan here, it can become a victim quickly, if we don't have a wise politician in the country, and wise advisor. Who knows? Maybe the visit was initiated long time ago. But why executing the visit at this time of him leaving New York to Juba? Why doing it now? If something that was initiated a long time ago and he didn't do it, and he has to do it sometimes, and then it would have been good, to allow the situation to ease itself, and then after that he can visit. Because we are well aware that if President Kiir rushed, or his advisor said, yeah, this is an opportunity to go to Russia, if Russia send any visitation, which is I doubt there is no visitation can be sent on 21st of September or even 18th of September, and then right away you go and very the same week, to Kremlin. That will tell you there is a setup also. It can happen here to the Republic of South Sudan. If we don't have a wise, good people in J1, and then that can be a nightmare in the future. This is the point that I wanted to add, to the point that we have made. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm coming to this point. It is a very important point, and thank you for stressing it in advance before I could arrive to that one. And so the visit was initiated by Kremlin, not by J1, as it sounds, or maybe it was initiated in the past and it was not executed on time, as you said. And even in the word of the president, he told Putin, actually, when he was speaking in the video you played, that we met some time back, but nothing has been done. And then he said this is the right time now for them to do something. And so this shifting in the relations from the Western camp to the Eastern camp, the United States of America, those of China and Russia are big countries. They have their own fight. Now South Sudan is getting involved into this fight. The question is, will South Sudan be able to stand its ground in this diplomatic fight? The answer is no. We don't even need to get involved into any diplomatic conflict between the big countries in the world. Why? Because we are a new nation. We have our own aspirations. We have a lot of things that we want to do. So we don't need to get into confronting big countries such as the United States of America, because it is not in our best interest. And so what J1 is doing is a political and diplomatic confrontation between it and the White House. And we don't need that one. And therefore, I come to an agreement with what you said, Brother Jonkor, and what Abdallah said earlier. We know there are a lot of loopholes in the relations between the United States of America and so many African countries. But despite of our knowledge of those loopholes or those complications, we need to be patient, as Abdullah said it earlier. We need to be so patient and follow up what are our interests with the United States, our friend, a friend who stood with us during the time of struggle until we became a country. And so what President Kiir did is not the right decision. Now, Kiir has made three things. By taking this step, number one, Kiir has widened the diplomatic gap between South Sudan and the USA. We don't know when is this gap going to be breached. This is number one. Number two, President Kiir has actually put the future relations between South Sudan and the US at stake. Number three, he shifted the diplomatic relations between South Sudan and the US to the eastern camp, those of Russia right now. And so these are the consequences, in addition to what Abdullah said earlier. And we don't need this. If you look at the speech of President Kiir during the bilateral talks between him and Vladimir Putin actually talked about what his country wants in the relations with South Sudan. He talked about two important things. He talked about cooperation between his government and South Sudan. That's number one. Number two, he had actually ensured President Kiir of the Russian support to South Sudan. But when President Kiir, when it was his turn now to speak, he said that they have to work together.
Long walk.
And he looked back at the relations between J1 and Kremlin and said that we had meeting earlier, but nothing has been done after those meetings. And the third thing he said was that Vladimir Putin, you are what? You are the alternative. We are looking for a strong country in the world, for a strong friend, and you are now the alternative. Now look at the word alternative. Mm-hmm. What did he actually mean? This speech was actually directed to the US administration, that you guys in the United States, you have rejected me.
Yes.
You denied me meeting your president. Mm. I have another new friend now.
I have an alternative. Yes.
That's the meaning. So this visit was actually meant to piss off.
Yes.
The United States of America, the Biden administration. This is what we understand from this speech. Okay, what are the objectives of the visit? Abdullah actually made it clear earlier. But you can judge what are the objectives of the visit if you look into the delegations of His Excellency the President, Salva Kiir Mayardit. Who are the members of the delegation? You start with Ambassador Dr. James P.T. Morgan, Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. That's number one. Number two, Dr. Barnaba Marial Benjamin, Minister of Presidential Affairs. Number three, Dr. Benjamin Ball-Mill, Presidential Advisor for Special Tasks. Number four, General Shulton Balok, Minister of Defense and Veteran Affairs. Number five, General Akol Korkut, the Chief of Internal Security Bureau, National Security Service. And if I may add number six, that would be Ambassador Engineer Shulton Mayai, South Sudan Ambassador to Russia. Yeah. Those are the people we saw in the delegation. And so when you look at General Akol Kor, General Shulton Balok, these are security leaders in the country.
Yep.
Akkad is leading the security apparatus. Sultan is actually
military
in charge of the defense. So you question yourself, why are these two gentlemen there? So you can now judge the nature of this visit. So President Kiir was going to seek military support, security support. So he wants guns, he wants firearms, because when his visit to Kremlin was announced, it was made clear that he was going to discuss the bilateral relationship between Kremlin and J1. Number two, he was going to discuss the issue of arms embargo, that the lifting of arms embargo. And you remember that in his speech to the UN General Assembly, he actually asked the Assembly that these arms embargo should be lifted. So President Kiir was going to look for guns. He wants guns. He's not happy that his government is under sanction of arms embargo. And he is the cost of the arms embargo that is imposed on this government. So what we saw in the camera is not what we saw in the, on the camera or in the video is not what actually the video is all about. There are other meetings which are held behind closed doors, and in those meetings, we are sure that a lot of agreements have been inked, especially in the sector of security and defense and other sectors. But the government is quiet about this. They didn't talk about this. When I was following the news, what I got is that Ambassador Shotong Mayai, South Sudan ambassador to Russia, was talking that Russia is going to support South Sudan by building 5 dams in South Sudan. That's what is in the news. But what agreement have been signed? Nothing was said about that. So these are the objectives of the visit. President Kiir was going to look for guns. And I'm sure Putin has assured him of getting those guns. But now the question is, if he got guns, will he use them responsibly? The answer is no. The answer is no. Those guns are going to be used against the people of South Sudan. And this is one of the things that is not acceptable at all. So this is what I can say, Brother Jonkur, in brief about the visit, because we don't want to talk a lot. We just want to put the dots on the letters and make it crystal clear what is behind this. So in summary, we are saying that the government acted on anger, and this is not acceptable. The shifting of the diplomatic relation from the US to Russia, though it is a choice of the government, it is not in the best interest of our country. And President Kiir is not going to be there for life as president. His government will come to an end one day, and another government shall come and run the affairs of the country. So what they are doing now will affect the upcoming government in the Republic of South Sudan. And this is what we are not happy with. We do understand that he is angry, but there is something called anger management in diplomacy. They should have managed, J1 should have managed this anger in a very wise way. Losing a strong ally like the United States or America is not a good thing. So after here, I will stop, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sas Dengdi Ayok, Chairman of the United Citizens for Change, for elaborating and putting the dots in its place. Indeed, yes, they need an anger management, because in politics, it doesn't work that way. Even though there was a great deal of humiliation, which is, I don't see it as humiliating, because when US and other countries voted for arm embargo as a result, of mismanagement, of the result of human rights abuses in the country, and because the government is irresponsibly used the guns against its people. And U.S. always their side diplomatic is based on the principle. Even there are some countries in the West that they don't trust because of what they do. So with that, it shouldn't be the way it is. Ustaz Abdul Garang has put it clearly. Um, Kir government, it will go, but we don't want them to leave a bad legacy, thing that will stick with the people of South Sudan for a very long time. So I think we stress enough on this, and actually promising that we can do only 2 hours in Facebook, and then we need to transition to Clubhouse and give more people, an opportunity to weigh in their respective, if they wanted to weigh in their respective with that. And yes, I see that Dr. Aldo Ajo saying something that President Kiir, Salva Kiir is shifting. Yes, exactly. Diplomatics, approach, on the world. I know I'll read more of this comment later, but yeah, we wanted to transition to Clubhouse, and we continue. And I hope J1, need to be wise about what they are doing. As I said from the beginning, U.S. has never intended for a regime change. But given that Russia is the big enemy to the United States, and now we are doing this just to piss them off simply because you are not being able to meet with President Joe Biden, I don't think this is not a wise decision to do. So many things that America has done to the people of South Sudan, and they continue to do in terms of humanitarian assistance. You saw Juba Normally Road. It was, from the United States of America, cost $200 million. The only lifeline to South Sudan right now, bringing the good through Mombasa, through Lamo to Juba. Okay, without the United States, also the CPA wouldn't be signed because they push, and Ustaz Deng did have said it clearly, the Sudan Peace Act. And not only that, after the referendum, President Bashir actually was very reluctant that not to allow the referendum to take place. He wanted to make it like what had happened in Western Sahara, the Polisario Front, when they have that referendum. The king of Morocco actually prevented referendum to take place, and they did not go anywhere. They were not able to succeed, and the Western Sahara, they were fighting for a very long time, and nothing actually has happened to their cases. But the U.S., with a lot of effort that they have put in, I recall a meeting that called by President Barack Obama in 2010 in New York, 6 months prior to referendum, the formation of a committee which is headed by Justice Chanrej on that time. They put more pressure, and actually Ali Usman Matah was there, President Kiir was there, and it was made clear on that closed door meeting, listen, you got to let the process of referendum take place. Otherwise, we will do a regime change. It was clear to President Bashir. And then Ali Usman Matah knew that there is no way. We have to allow the process. We cannot violate it. But they were actually eager not to allow the process of referendum to take place. They did not want to form, the committee. They did not want to do even registration. They did not want to do anything. They were violating. They were just humiliating the SPLA in their, respective, stations. And you recall what happened in Abyei by that time, and so forth. But U.S. put a lot of effort, and we were able, to conduct a credible referendum that we voted overwhelmingly for independence of South Sudan. So, friend in need is friend indeed, as Susan Rice said when she landed at the Juba International Airport, and she gave that speech. We are here to support you, and we raised the flag for the first time, and we become an independent Republic of South Sudan, marking at the 193 the country, in the world. A lot of effort was put in by the United States. It's not just like you come here and because of your short temperament and you want to turn thing around and say, oh, I'm going to piss them off, I'm going to do this. This country is the future for generation, and those advisors in J1, they should be wise, and what they are doing, they should be carefully and what they are doing with the country. With that, I would like to conclude in Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and we will transition from here to Clubhouse. Ustaz Dengdi, please take it from here, and I will be back with you guys shortly. Thank you.
Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum.
All right. Thank you. Good night.